Hello and welcome. I am Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and today it's another vegetable discovery. Yes, we are going to look at the vegetable eggplant. Now, don't turn me off if you've never eaten this vegetable before, because this is a powerhouse for your brain, for preventing cancer, heart disease, and arthritis. Now, if that didn't get your attention, I don't know what will, because we need these antioxidants, we need all of these nutrients to help nourish our body. And yes, it's part of God's recipe for excellent health, which is why it works. Yes, so let's go inside, check out the eggplant. I'm going to share with you how to buy it. Then we're going to go to my kitchen. I'm going to share with you 2 recipes so you can deliver this on the table tonight so you can serve your family God's recipe for excellent health. Here we have some beautiful eggplant. Let me share with you what you're looking for. The greener the stem on top, the fresher the eggplant. We're also looking for when we kind of press in on the eggplant, it bounces right back. And so that's a good indication that this is a perfectly ripe eggplant. So this would be really good to take home and enjoy. So this eggplant is loaded with vitamins and minerals, and that's why it works for us. You're going to get a lot of your B vitamins, B as in be happy. Yes, your family will love you so much more when you get your B vitamins, especially the folic acid. So folic acid is so important for pregnancy, for preconception, and then the entire pregnancy and all the time that you are nursing. But yet, folic acid is also important for senior adults to keep that mind sharp. So we've got lots of B vitamins, we've got calcium, magnesium, we got vitamin C, we have manganese, phosphorus, vitamin K. I've talked about these vegetables in our other videos. So if you're new to the Biblical Nutritionist, be sure and go back and catch the other videos. A lot of really good information that I want to teach you how to eat healthy so you can live your life longer and more youthful. Wait a minute, youthful, yes, anti-aging. So there is a nutrient in eggplant, and that nutrient is magnesium, and that is a nutrient that helps to protect the fat cells in your brain. Well, that creates an anti-aging effect. So hey, I am being upstaged here. So that is what we want. We want to protect our brain. We want to stay strong. We want to stay, have clarity of mind. That's what we want. So this is also going to help prevent cancers, heart disease, and arthritis because of all the nutritional bang that you get in this one food. All right, have I convinced you yet to try it? If you haven't already, put in the comments down below. Is this a food you really love? You have it all the time, or you're like, that kind of scares me a little. Well, this shiny skin you want in your diet. So hopefully you're buying it from a local produce that you can trust, that they haven't waxed it. If they have waxed it, you're buying it in the big box chain stores, then you do need to clean it really well. Go ahead and check out my do-it-yourself, make your own veggie cleaner to use to get rid of that wax. Let's go eat some eggplant. Well, here we are with the eggplant. Now, eggplant grows really well from August through October. So if you have some growing in your garden, here's a look at my garden here. You can see I'm going to have several coming in the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to have even more chances to use these recipes. And there are so many recipes that you can use eggplant in. So today we're going to make 2 different recipes. The first one, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut the ends off the eggplant. And then we're going to slice it and put some kosher salt on it so that we can get some of the moisture out. We're going to go ahead and just cut these in about 1/4 inch slices. Eggplant is a very firm plant, and when we put it in our colander and sprinkle it with a little bit of kosher salt, it's going to help remove some of the excess water. Eggplant loves to absorb any fluids that you're going to be using in your cooking, such as oil, butter, even some vegetable broth. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this tea kettle to kind of press down onto the eggplant to kind of press that salt into the eggplant so it'll drain off even more water. So now we're going to push that aside, And we're going to use our second eggplant for the next recipe. Now in this one, I'm not going to do the salt technique. We're just going to go ahead and use it as is. And we are going to make what's normally known as an appetizer, but it could actually be for your incomplete meal. For our second recipe, which is kind of our appetizer, I've gone ahead and you could use a skillet. I'm using my Lodge griddle here. And I have some olive oil and I am sauteing some onions. The onions are to flavor the olive oil. And then we're just going to go ahead and lay our eggplant on here and just grill them. Now that that is nice and ready, we're just going to go ahead and grill these on the griddle. They will absorb that delicious flavor of the olive oil and the onions. Now this could totally work in a skillet just as well. Now I'm also going to put just a little bit of salt on top to help the flavors to be a little bit enhanced, and it will also pull out some of the water in the eggplant. We're going to let this cook a couple minutes on each side and then we'll go to the next step. Now another way of cutting up your eggplant is to make it the size of the strips that you want, and then using just a really good cheese slicer like this, you can make really good pieces. So I have a few of them here and we're just going to squeeze these onto the grill. And these are also going to make really good slices for what we're doing in our next step. So while our strips are cooling down so we can use them, we're going to go ahead and mix together our filling. So I'm using goat cheese. You can definitely use some ricotta cheese if you prefer that. We're just going to blend it up. I have our Fiskies back in our stock again. I'm so excited. These are more of a red pomegranate color for our Fiskies, so you can see those on our website. I'm just going to blend in about 1/4 cup of finely chopped onions. To this, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I have a little bit more than 1/4 cup in there. I'm going to save that for the other recipe. We want to blend this up nice and creamy. I have it pretty creamy already, so we're going to go ahead and now add in our walnuts. You can use any nuts. Pine nuts would be delicious. So about 1/4 cup of finely chopped nuts. And then we're going to add some fresh basil leaves. So I just took these out of my garden. I love just being able to go outside and grab whatever herbs I can get. And right now basil is still fresh. So I'm just going to chop some of this and add it in. There we go. And I love these herb shears. They just make chopping your herbs so much easier. Be creative with the cheeses, the nuts. Make this all your own. You could even add a little bit of salt seasoning or Italian seasoning to this cream mixture so that your family loves it. Now what we're going to do is just roll these up. We're going to just put a dollop of our mixture in the center. And then we're just going to roll it up, put it on our platter, and serve it as a delicious appetizer. Now those are the thin ones that I use the cheese slicer to cut up. I'll do these first and then we'll do the bigger ones that I cut by hand with a knife. I would totally say the cheese slicer works a lot better than my great big slices. Now this is our bigger one, so I'm going to put a lot more of the filling. This is going to be a heartier serving here. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll that up and set that there on our plate as well. If you need toothpicks to kind of hold it together, you could do that as well. Then when you're ready to serve it, now that one just looks like it needs a little bit more to have that oomph look to it. You know what I mean? So we'll add just a little bit more to that as well. All right, then we would just decorate it maybe with some walnuts and some basil leaves. Oh, I got these cute little ones that would look really cute on top. Like that. And like that. Yes. Don't you love to decorate food? Put another one in like that. We could have a few bay leaves on the plate as we serve it. You could drizzle this with some fig balsamic vinegar. That would be, oh, that would be gorgeous. Or just maybe even just some regular balsamic vinegar. But I so love to bring in any of the 7 foods of the Promised Land when I can. All right, so I'm just going to sprinkle some more walnuts on the plate to decorate that up. And there we have it. Now, because I mentioned it, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, just to do a little drizzle here and there. There we go. Now we have topped it off. Now, working on the second recipe, we've got our eggplant. You can see they have definitely drained. You can see the water just kind of bubbling up on top of that. That is the water trying to leave the eggplant. Then in our bowl, you can see we definitely have some juice down there. So it is getting rid of the water. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually pat it dry. So you could use paper towel or you could use a dish towel. So we're going to go ahead and just put our eggplant on the dish towel or a paper towel. You can see it's definitely gone down in size. You could let it sit for, anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. We're going to trim that one up. Okay, there we go. And so we're just going to kind of pat these dry to get that extra moisture out. All right, then we're going to chop it up into 1-inch pieces, maybe 1/2-inch size pieces, and we are going to have a delicious saute. There we go. So when you're learning how to cook, uniformity is not a science, and it doesn't have to always be uniform. It's just your cooking time will be better if you have all of the pieces in sort of a uniform shape. But don't let that overwhelm you. Just cook, just have fun, and let your family enjoy God's recipe for excellent health. Remember what I told you. This is to help prevent cancer, to help your body to heal, protect your brain, protect those fat cells in your brain. This is the only vegetable I've told you about correcting. Went ahead and chopped them up nice and uniform, about 1 inch, a little bit less than 1 inch. We're going to go ahead and take these to the stove and grill it up. Now we're going to start with grilling some onions and then some mushrooms. You could add garlic to this, whatever is your favorite to enjoy. Now that looks like a lot of oil, and it probably is a little bit too much, but the eggplant has a tendency to act like a sponge, so it's going to absorb a lot of this oil and it's pretty much going to disappear. But if you don't want that much oil in your food once it's done cooking, then you could definitely use vegetable broth to saute in, or even a meat broth. But if you're doing this as a vegetarian dish, definitely grab some vegetable broth. When I made the vegetable broth video for you, I showed you how to make them into ice cubes. So you could just grab 1 ice cube out of your bag in the freezer and use that to saute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add our eggplant. Now if you have a younger eggplant, the seeds are not going to be as prominent looking as this one is. This is a little bit older eggplant. I really like the young tender ones a little bit better. They have a more milder, sweeter flavor. Now when you saute, always use a medium to medium high heat. Never use a high heat. It's better for the food to cook at a nice steady pace than to be scorched pretty much. Leaving the skin on the eggplant because we got it from a local produce farmer at the local market at Tom Leonard's. It just makes for a prettier dish. Now, as you can see, it's nice and tender, so we are good. Here you can see I went ahead and added the cheese blend that we used in the other recipe, plus topped it off with some of the Parmesan. These recipes with eggplant is just another example of God's recipe for excellent health. And if you haven't already, go to biblicalnutritionacademy.com and check out our courses on eating, praying, and fasting, all there to deliver to you more recipes of God's love. Remember, He sent His Son to die for us, and that salvation is available to everyone, everywhere in the world. I look forward to reading your comments, and until next time, be sure and check out biblicalnutritionacademy.com. Let me challenge you, share this video with 3 people around the world, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.